Hi, I'm David. I'd love to share with you something about your personality and something that's really unique and special about you. A lot of people don't understand the depth and the breadth of who we are fully as people. What happens, our culture puts so much emphasis on the physical realm that we often have a tendency to lose our ability to understand that we're more than just physical creatures. There is so much more to us than that. But it's the first impression that we make is a physical one. And so many times what our culture, what even we think, the media talks about is whether we are physically attractive enough or not. And we lose a sense of the rest of who we are. Well, the truth of the matter is we're five-faceted creatures, not just single-faceted, but there are five different parts of who we are. And they're interactive, as a matter of fact, with one another. Not only are we physical creatures, but we are people with intellect as well. How many times have you had thoughts on a daily basis? How many different kind of features about you can be described in positive and wonderful ways on an intellectual basis? Can you remember your phone number? Do you know what your address is? Those kind of things, that's part of the intellectual part of who we are. And those are simple illustrations. There are so many different parts of us also, not only that are physically, but intellectually. What I like to do, and let me go ahead and do it this way too, what I like to do is ask you to draw a five-column chart like this, where you simply write down all of the things that you know that are true about you by the way God designed you physically. You have good eye-hand coordination. You have a pleasant smile. You have good teeth. What other kinds of physical attributes do you have that are part of how God designed you? But not only that, don't stay there. What are some of the intellectual attributes that are true about you as well? You can read a book and make sense of what you've read. You can remember things. And you can, like I said, you can remember your address and your telephone number and things like that. Well, not only are we physical and intellectual creatures, but we are also social creatures. One of the neat things about this that I really think is cool about what the Bible says is it was God's idea that we be social creatures. In the very beginning of creation, when God made the earth and he made the stars and the sky, he made the animals and the trees and birds and plants and all that kind of stuff. Then he placed a man right in the middle of all that. And what God said is it's not good that man be alone. Now the amazing thing right here is that man at that moment in time had the ability to have one-on-one perfect relationship with God. And even God said that's not enough. That we have to have someone who's just like us that we interact with. Well, so what are some of your social attributes and social skills as well? Maybe a good sense of humor that you have. You're loyal. You're a good friend. Well, to be honest with you, it takes a good intellect to have a good sense of humor as well. So when you're listing some of these things, they may apply in more than one of the different columns. Well, we're only 3/5 of the way finished. Not only are we physical, intellectual, and social creatures, but God made us with emotions as well. Now, in our world, we think sometimes of bad emotions and good emotions, but the truth of the matter is emotions just are. And they're part of us, and we are each one of us given the full range of emotions. What are some of those wonderful emotions that God has gifted you with and has let you have? You may be tender-hearted or very compassionate. You may have the gift of mercy. You may be able to even think of not only a talent but and characteristics, but also the way maybe God has gifted you in a very special way in some of these. Well, there's one more that I think is so neat. The truth of the matter is that we are also spiritual creatures. Oh, this is what pulls us all together and what holds us together. And what are some of those spiritual attributes that you have that God has given to you that help you not only relate to him and to his word, but to the world he's put us in? For example, when you are out for a drive in the spring and you come up over a hill and you see a big, beautiful meadow full of Indian paintbrush and bluebonnets, do you say, oh, those are just pollinated plants? I have my doubts. You'll probably go, oh man, isn't that beautiful? What about rainbows and sunsets and even thunderstorms. We have a wonderful ability to relate to those, and those are all spiritual experiences that God has designed and given to us. The neatest thing about this, finally, is right here in the very middle is where all these coalesce together. This is what I think is our soul. This is the center of who we are, the part of us that is most like God, where that's creative, that pulls together our physical resources, our intellectual, our social, our emotional, and even our spiritual resources, so we can really be whole people. So I hope you don't think of yourself as just a physical person. That so many times we fall prey to that. And we think, gosh, I have to act a certain way or think a certain way or look a certain way. Well, the truth of the matter is we are whole people. We're designed to be whole people. So I hope that this little illustration will give you a lot of hope as far as feeling like I can be a lot of different parts of me and pull all this together and find out who I really am in the way God designed me.